Hey, 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 everybody.
Hello.
How are you? It's Friday, baby. You know the deal. It's Friday, so let's talk for real. All right, y'all sing along. It's Friday. You know the deal. It's Friday. Let's talk for real. It's Friday, so let's talk. Let's talk for real. Let's talk with Shay and Trill. Let's talk. Let's talk for real. Let's talk for real. Hey, everybody. How are y'all doing? We have a special guest in the studio today. Her name is Michelle Hagee. And Michelle, tell the audience a little bit about you.
Hello, let's talk for real. I'm Michelle Hagee. I am a clinical social worker, and I am also a licensed clinical substance abuse counselor associate. I work with families and I work with children, and I do it at a holistic approach. We don't miss anything. We go straight to the core. I'm also a life coach. My life coach business is core to communications, and that's where we go to the core of the very being. We let you get stuck. You're stuck. We only stay there for a moment, but then we go to the core and we address it. And if you're ready to work, I'm ready to work.
All right, there you have it, Facebookers. Miss Michelle Hagee, Coach Michelle Hagee, licensed clinical social worker Michelle Hagee. There you have it. So if you need some help, Michelle can help you. Okay, so today our topic is shedding shame. Shedding shame. And I can tell you that there are some of you in the audience today who may be dealing with shame, or you may have a family member or a friend that's dealing with shame. Maybe your child is dealing with shame. Maybe your child is going to school and they are being bullied or they're being picked on. And so the core of that is shame. So you guys know that we like to give definitions on the topic that we're discussing today. So let me give you a couple of definitions about the word shame. Shame is defined as the painful feeling arising from the consciousness of something dishonorable, improper, ridiculous. Shame is also done by oneself or another. This is another definition of shame. A condition of disgrace or dishonor. A painful emotion caused by the belief that one is or is perceived by others to be inferior or unworthy of affection or respect because of one's actions, thoughts, circumstances, or experiences. Let me say that last part again. A painful emotion caused by the belief that one is or is perceived by others. And we know that my perception of you is my reality of you. Perception is reality, right? Or is perceived by others to be inferior or unworthy. And they say that you're inferior or unworthy because of your actions, how you think about yourself, your circumstances or experiences. So I have been just observing people. You know, Trill typically is the people watcher. Today I took on Trill's characteristics this week, and I just began to watch people. I watch people as I've been going out to restaurants, having business lunches, business breakfasts, and business meetings, interviewing people for a new role that we have within our organization. And I just began to watch people. And it brought to mind that people are living in a place called shame. And there are people in their environment that is feeding to the shame. Now, let me give you an example. If Michelle and I, if we are friends and we are out at dinner, and Michelle knows that, and I share this all the time with people jokingly, but it's real because I'm really battling my weight. And everybody is watching what Shay is gonna order to eat, right? Everybody's watching it because everybody knows Shay is battling, with her weight. So everybody's trying to see what Shay is gonna order. Now everybody else is ordering what they want to order. And here it is, because I'm battling my weight, everybody knows that, I am very particular about what I'm eating in public, right? So everybody gets to order their dessert. I don't order dessert because everybody's watching me, because they know, well, she talking about she want to lose weight, but she's sitting up there eating, ice cream and a brownie with, the warm brownie with the pecans on it with the ice cream that melts. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Hey, Stephanie. And so everybody's eating their little dessert, but me, because I'm feeling ashamed, I don't eat the dessert in front of y'all. But best believe I'm going home and I'm eating my dessert. So what are you saying, Shay? What I'm saying is that I want to be around people like Michelle, who is going to love me for who I am, whether I'm 200 pounds or if I'm 150 pounds, my ideal weight. Pray for me. I got 40 pounds to go. Pray for me. But I want to be around people like Michelle who will accept me for who I am, not for what I look like. And so when you're talking about shedding shame, shame says, I am bad. A lot of people use shame and guilt interchangeably. Shame says, I am bad. Guilt says, I've done something bad. And so Michelle, because of her profession, she deals with all different types of people every day. And Michelle can share some professional experiences in terms of what she sees in the line of shame.
So I'm going to come in right there, Shay, and I'm going to say, as you was even reading the definition of shame, and it was what they. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, and I would go with shame, it's not even they. When you're in a restaurant and you're saying people are looking at what you're having for dinner, mm-hmm. It's not necessarily people even caring about what you have, mm-hmm. or caring about your weight. It starts here.
Come on, Michelle.
It starts here. So that's where shame, the shame is a part of the enemy.
Yes.
The enemy gets into your head and he tells you what I'm thinking.
Right.
There's no way you can tell what I'm thinking.
That's right.
And that's how the enemy plays into your mind to say that this is what that person is thinking.
That's good.
And the enemy comes to kill, steal, and to destroy.
That's right.
And he starts that in the mind.
That's right.
He starts that in your mind to be able to say that this is what they're thinking.
That's right.
That's the destructive part.
That's right. That's right.
And everything you do starts with your mind.
Absolutely.
So if you can free yourself from the bondage of your mind and you can step beyond what your mind is telling you, you got freedom.
Say that again, Michelle.
You got freedom, and that's the biggest deliverance you can get is the deliverance over your own mind. Step out of your way. Get out of your way.
That's good.
Free your mind.
Get out of your own way.
Get out of your own way.
Because you are absolutely right. A lot of times we jump to conclusions of what we think people are saying. And Stephanie, you are absolutely right. And yes, we do play it over and over and over and over to the point that we begin to believe the lie. We begin to believe the untruth. But today there is good news. The Bible says that we can renew our minds. And that's what we have to do is renew our minds. But also, I still say a big part of that too is surrounding yourself with people who will accept you for who you are and not for people who will gravitate to you because of association. You know, some people connect or attach themselves to you because of association. I want people to gravitate and connect to me because they accept me for who I am. And so I was talking to Michelle before the broadcast and I began to think about church. You know, a lot of people are shamed in the church. And I think that's why a lot of people don't go to church today. I can remember when I was, living in poverty. Thank God, I'm no longer living in poverty, but I can remember going to multiple churches. And y'all know for yourselves, and you might attend one, not talking about your church, I'm just talking about my experience. Let me walk in my truth. I remember several churches, when they would take up offerings, they would call all of those who had a $500 offering, get in this line, stand over here. And then they start walking it down from $100 to $50 to $25. And then those individuals like myself who did not have the $25 to give, it was like we were the throwaway group, where the rest of y'all just come on. That was how it was petitioned. The rest of y'all just come on and just give what you can give. And I began to reflect on how I felt, because I was treated as though, because I couldn't afford the $500 offering then, I can now.
Amen.
I couldn't then, but I can now. But it was the way I was treated in the church. So, Michelle, have you experienced people being shamed in the church, or have you yourself experienced being shamed in church?
Shay, if you've ever been in church, you have experienced it.
Come on, say that again.
Because that's people. But I'm so glad that God is not like people.
Come on now.
If he only based what I had to give, then what kind of blessing would I get?
Come on now.
Because everything that I have and everything that I am and my being is only because of him.
Yes.
So I don't have anything to offer that he hasn't already given me.
Come on now.
And so often we expect people to give us something that they don't have.
Right.
You can't expect a pint to give you a gallon.
It's
not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You can't get no more out of a person than what they have to offer.
That's right. That's right.
So therefore, we just have to be able to just accept people for who they are and where they are, and just meet them where they are and give them what we would expect Christ to share with us, is to give us his very best at our very least.
Exactly. Hey, Trill joined us. Hey, Shay. Stephanie said, shame because you're not speaking in tongues and some fake it to be accepted. Girl, if you don't say that, Stephanie Shelling, don't you know people will be speaking something? I don't know what it is, but they be speaking in tongues trying to make people think that they're actually speaking in tongues when they're not. And I'm telling you, just so that they can be accepted. And you're right, that is the fakeness. But let me tell you this. This is another thing that I've experienced in the church. Now, there's a difference between a butcher and a surgeon, isn't it?
Cut them up.
It's a difference between a butcher and a surgeon. I have been butchered in the church, and I've also have received surgery from a surgeon. Now, both of them have knives, both of them cut you up, but one of them just leave you out. Your guts is all hanging out. They don't care whether you live or die. But the surgeon, if he cuts you or if she cuts you, it's like the word of God. It's sharper than any two-edged sword. It cuts going in, but it heals coming out.
Yes.
And the butchers in the church are the ones that leave you to shame. They are the ones that don't care about you. They are the ones that will talk about you across the pulpit.
They are church hurt.
Yes, that is.
That surgeon's gonna heal you and sew you back up.
Yes, yes, because what you say, Stephanie, is skillful one. Yeah, one is skillful and one is reckless. Yes, ma'am. One is skillful. That surgeon is skillful. They know exactly where to go, how deep to cut. They know exactly how to suture you back up. They know what to give you for the pain, for the after surgery. They know exactly what to do. But a butcher don't care about you. A butcher will cut you open and leave you on the table to die.
slaughter you.
Say it again.
Slaughter you.
Slaughter you.
Mm-hmm.
Have any of you ever been slaughtered in the church? And so when you're talking about shame, yeah, I'm talking about shame today. Talking about shame in the church. Because I feel like I have experienced more shame in church. Y'all not going to talk to me right there. Than I have experienced outside of the church. Go ahead, Shell.
Well, the difference with shame is pretty much what you're telling yourself and what you're allowing people to speak into you. There's power in words.
Come on.
So you can't let just anybody say just anything to you.
Come on.
You have to block that.
Come on.
That's the shame.
Yes.
Now, the other piece to shame and the difference between shame and guilt. Guilt is that conscious of you saying, I want to do better.
Mm-hmm.
It's my response to my actions.
Mm-hmm.
But your actions, sometimes shame will make you feel like you're not worthy.
Yes. That's it.
But we are not our actions all the time because we're not perfect.
Did you just say we are not our actions all the time?
We're not our actions.
Shell, go deeper. Go deeper right there. Go deeper right there.
We're not our actions all the time simply because we do things that sometimes, as it was said, who was it? Was it Paul who said, I die daily? And sometimes in Romans that, when I want to do good, but evil is always around. It's always a conscious decision, and we're not always conscious of our decisions. Sometimes we are human.
Yes.
And we were made perfect through Christ.
Yes.
And it's only through Him that we are perfect.
Yes.
So if we have arrived and was perfect, there was no need for the cross.
Come on now.
So it is the blood who actually delivers us daily. So we have to cast shame out. Shame is when you're worried about somebody finding out who you really are.
Or what has happened to you.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's the action, because that's what happened to you. It's not even who you are.
Right.
That's what happened. But
right.
You're so afraid that somebody's going to find out who you are or what happened to you. So it handicaps, imprison your mind.
Yes.
And it therefore imprison who you are.
Yes.
The best way to deal with shame is to release it.
Exactly.
This happened. This is who I am. This is what. Then you don't have to worry about what somebody's thinking, or if Shay finds out.
Right.
What if Shay finds out? I can't. I'm shame around Shay because she might find out what happened to me,
right,
or what I did.
Come on.
Well, let me just tell you, my sister. This is who I am. Stand in your truth and be who you are, and keep it moving.
Stand in your truth and be who you are, and keep it moving. Trill says sometimes shame and guilt is used as a control method in some ministries. Girl,
yes.
Lord have mercy. Girl, I just had some flashbacks.
Expose it. Tell it. Just tell it. Sing it from a mountaintop. And then you don't have to worry about the shame.
Because if you don't tell it, that is the enemy's crevice, portal of keeping you in prison, like you said, and keeping you in bondage. Stephanie, you say what? And judge you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we need to do. Truth always disarms the enemy. Girl.
That it will do.
Won't it?
And that's when it gets angry, because he has nothing over you anymore.
Because listen.
You've already exposed it. Because
can't nobody tell my story better than I can tell it. You might try to tell my story, but see, you might leave some parts out that I really need to get out, to say, to expose the enemy. Because a lot of times we go into relationships with people. I've seen people go into relationships and they are afraid to share their scars with the people that they're getting into the relationship with. You better let them know about your scars, because if you don't, your scars will speak to them sooner or later, somewhere within that relationship.
Not only that relationship, but every relationship you have.
Come on, Shell.
Whether it's in the church, whether it's in your job, and whether it's in your intimate relationship, it's going to speak in every relationship you have until you're delivered from it.
Absolutely. And you're right, Stephanie. He wants to glory in embarrassment, because that's what the enemy does. He comes, he's the accuser of the brethren, and he wants you to be embarrassed. But today I am so glad that we know that greater is he that's on the inside of us than he that's within the world. Trill said that's right, because when you tell it, it releases the power the power hole that some people are seeking. The truth will make you free. Yes, it does. So transparency is necessary because it unlocks you from the bondage of people. Yes, because that is exactly what people want you to do, is to be indebted and in bondage to them. And they feel like it's almost like what they call it, extortion, like they blackmailing, like they can blackmail you with stuff that they know on you. But if you go ahead on and tell it, what then can they say? What then can they do? So you got to share the shame. Share that shame. You have to think well of yourself. You have to understand that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. What does God say about you? Well, I remember there was a time when I was living in Section 8 that, you know, when I went to work, you know, some of the girls that weren't living in Section 8, you know, they was doing their thing, and you know how they try to talk down to you, try to make you feel like you're less than. And today, I just would like to say to all of those sisters, thank y'all so much. Because your haterade became my motivation. And I am where I am today because of the grace of God, and because of I took the negativity and the wounds that were constantly afflicted upon me, those wounds that y'all tried to share. I will never forget when I was in high school, they had these rain shoes that came out. They were duck. They looked like ducks. You remember the duck shoes? And so, of course, we were in I was born into generational poverty, so I couldn't afford the actual duck shoes, but they had a knockoff at Dollar General, right? And so I bought them. And so I'll never forget this girl, two girls, their families were well off. They began to laugh at my knockoff. And they said, Dollar General. I heard them. But believe it or not, today, I have been a blessing to one of them because one of them lives here in the city. And I have been a blessing to her. And so, because now I'm not in that place of poverty. I'm not there, thank God. Not bragging, but God has delivered me from that. And this is one thing I will never do. You will never find shaming somebody because of what they don't have, because I know what it feels like. I know exactly how it feels when you are looking at other people because they have something materialistically that you don't have, and they try to make you feel bad about you not having it. What you want to say?
Well, the piece on that is that the way you were able to bless her, and first of all, forgive her for what she did,
absolutely,
is because you're now able to bless her.
Yes.
And that's you've come beyond that.
Yes.
But had you held that against her, chances are you wouldn't be where you are now.
Come on, Shell.
Everything God gives us is for a reason.
It is.
And it's a test. And one thing about a test is you don't get an F with God. You may get an R for repeat, but you don't get an F.
Say that again.
He will give you a retake over and over and over again. And if you begin to get smart about it, you try to get it right the first time. So that you don't have to repeat it. But He's going to make you do it over again.
Yes, we are doomed to
everything He does is intentional.
Yes.
So He does it for a purpose, and it's all for a purpose of moving you to that next level higher and higher and higher. It's where do you want to go? Do you want your own self-gain, or do you want to do God's will? But if you're going to do God's will, then that means you're going to be able to take what He gives you, and you're going to learn the lessons while you're in there.
Absolutely.
And not have to get that repeat.
Absolutely.
But there are times we have to get the repeat, but you don't have to worry about an F. That's one thing with God. You're not going to fail.
I love
He's
that.
He's not going to fail you.
I love that. You can get a repeat. I love it. And then, there are some times when our very own family wants to shame us. And I don't know, Michelle, if you've ever experienced that in your family, but I know for me, with family members, there have been some shame. And I can tell you, coming out of the process of shame has put me in a place now that I truly believe that I am better equipped to help other people come out of that place called shame. Oh, look at Pastor Jamal Brown. You don't get an F from God, but you might get an R from him. Oh, that's your pastor, isn't it? Oh, see, Pastor Brown. See, you didn't want to come back on the show, but now we got one of your congregants on the show. It's all good, though. We got you. We got you covered. What's the name of your church?
Holly Springs United Church of Christ.
Holly Springs United Church of Christ in the house. Hey. But absolutely. And I can tell you that if you are in a family where you are experiencing shame from family members, this is my first word of encouragement to you. Love them.
Beyond everything.
Unconditionally. Because I'm telling you, I know that there has been a saying growing up that I've heard, 2 wrongs don't make a right. You are absolutely right. 2 wrongs do not make a right. And it is no need of you going blow to blow, tit for tat, that never causes a positive outcome ever. But I promise you, if you will allow the Lord to work through you in love unconditionally, that'll change.
Well, first of all, Shay, if you're allowing God to work through you, you're going to understand that it's not the person, it's the spirit of the person.
That's what we've been talking about.
That's that unconditional love. It's the spirit of the person.
Yeah.
And it's the same spirit that we all have.
Yeah.
We all, regardless, your stuff or your shame may not be my stuff and my shame.
Right.
But I grant you, there is some stuff and there's some shame in you.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So
absolutely.
While we're concerned about what people are thinking about our shame, they got their own shame. And they are worried about what you're thinking about them. They're not even thinking about you. I tell you, it's the power of the mind.
It's the power of the mind.
Shut it down. Shut the voice down of your mind, and then expose whatever the truth is. Walk in your truth, because nobody is perfect. Just walk in your truth and be who you are, and then you're free. That's where that freedom comes in.
That's it.
That's the freedom that Jesus died for us all to have, because he paid for it all on the
all
cross.
Of it.
And so you don't have to carry the shame. You don't have to carry the guilt. You just have to carry the cross. That cross is your brother and your sister, being your brother and sister keeper. Because the blood that was shed for all of us.
That's right.
Regardless of what your stuff is,
whatever your
shame is, it's already taken care of.
It is. It is already taken care of. I'm telling you, didn't 30 minutes go by fast?
It did.
I told you. It goes by so quick. So I see Pastor Jamal Brown says, I always will come back. And then Trill says, Pastor Brown, you know you always have an open seat. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He says, power of the mind, walk in your truth will bring you. Yes, yes, yes. It will. It will. It will. It will. So what you say, Trill? Freedom makes you strut while you walk, while shame causes you to walk with a, I guess, was that supposed to be?
Jump in your back. Jump on your back.
Jump in your back or hump in your back? Maybe she meant to say hump in your back.
And let me just share a short testimony. I went to one of the agencies that I work with. A young lady was working there who had been incarcerated for years. And she was worried about what she thought people were talking about and what they think about her. And so she would get frustrated and have an attitude because she was concerned about what people were thinking about. And my word to her was, you was released from prison 6 months ago, but you're still incarcerated in your mind.
Girl, that's good.
You're still incarcerated in your mind because you're still thinking about what other people are thinking.
Right.
And you still haven't freed yourself. You done paid your time. You done served your time. And you've paid for your mistakes. But you're still imprisoning yourself in your mind.
That's it. And what other people think.
And what other people think.
And what you
think. The biggest deliverance is to be delivered from your self-talk and be delivered from people.
That inner dialogue.
Is the biggest deliverance.
Yes, that inner dialogue. I'm telling you. He said, I believe I'm going to get Michelle to preach one Sunday. That's some good stuff. I'm trying to tell you, she's a bootlegging preacher. You didn't know? Yeah, Pastor Brown. She a bootlegging preacher. Glad that we can help you come to that decision, Pastor Brown. Evangelist Hagee.
I'm quiet.
Evangelist Hagee. Yes, yes, yes. So, listen, it is 6 o'clock already. Oh, my God. What in the world? It is 6 o'clock already.
Yeah.
So, there you have it, friends, Facebookers. Let's Talk for Real with Shay and Trill with our special guest evangelist, Michelle Hagee.
We were up. I'll stick to life coach and therapist.
Right. I'll stick to the life coach and therapist, Michelle Hagee. But listen, have a wonderfully blessed weekend. We pray that, yes, well, thank you for being our co-host. It has been such a blessing to have you with us today. So listen, guys, love your family. Spend some time with them. Hug them. We love you guys. Trill, we missed you on the show today, but you definitely have been commenting, and so we thank you for that, sister. She says, great job, evangelist.
Coach, therapist.
Say coach, therapist. All right, y'all sing along. It's Friday. You know the deal. It's Friday. Let's talk for real. It's Friday. So let's talk. Let's talk for real. Let's talk with Shay and Trill. Let's talk. Let's talk for real. Let's talk. Let's talk for real.
Hey.
All right, everybody. Have a blessed weekend. Love you guys. See you next week. Same time, same station. Bye-bye.
Bye.